Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another Friday afternoon where we sit down and we have a conversation with one of Jamaica's up and coming icons, entrepreneurial icons in the making on the JBDC's Entrepreneur's Journey. This afternoon, I have with me Sydia Griffiths Brown, who is representing a family-owned business, Sidcile Custom Craft Limited. Good afternoon, Sydia. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Kira. Thank you.
How are you doing?
I am good. Really, really well.
Okay, wonderful. Now, for everyone who's listening out there, you guys in the Zoom and on social, let me just give you a little background on Sidcile. Now, I personally am very pleased to announce that I own a few pieces, not just one, but a few pieces of Sidcile's custom craft
Okay.
handbags. Sidcile is a
Okay.
family-owned business, as I said, and they specialize in some really nice, can I say, custom-made handbags for ladies and gentlemen. They make hats, placemats, iPad case, all kind of I don't want to call it luggage because that just sounds like it's doing a disservice. But things of that nature, home decor and souvenirs, assorted types of souvenirs. And these are all made with unique type of materials. They're all products from Jippy Japa Fiber. I wish you have some pictures to show us, or at least some actual products to show us this afternoon, Cecile, because these things are really, really good. I don't have any of mine to show, but I want people to see what these things look like. Now, this
Okay.
company has been around for a few years, quite a few years, and it started out with the dream and the talents of a man and a woman who were husband and wife. That's Sydney and Cecil, and they're the parents of Sydia. And they have participated in a lot of shows across North America, in Jamaica, and they've made themselves a well-known brand on the tourist market and the local scenes. If you have been an attendant to local shows that have been the times when we used to have these shows around, whether at Christmas time or at different type of trade events, fashion events, and so on, you would have must have seen their products, seen their works there and about because they're always on show and making very unique functional art in my mind. The, the mission of Sidcile is to create the finest custom designed authentic fiber products, providing excellent customer service of the highest quality and to create a premium brand name. That sounds like it about it today.
Yes, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's just me giving
In a nutshell.
a quick-ish overview or introduction
Yeah.
to what it is that you do. And yes, we can see some of these things in the background. So, in your
Okay.
own words, tell us, Studio, what was the origins? I told the audience that it started with your parents, but how did this company start? How did the business start?
Okay. Thanks again for that beautiful introduction. But again, I will say that it started out. I just repeat with my parents. They both used. My mother had the love. She has always wanted to own her own business as a young lady back in St. Mary, and she taught herself how to use the digital fiber. Now, she used to make hats, you know, in her parents' house and go to Kingston on weekends and sell the hats. So that's really where it started out. And having been married to my dad, they both say that, let us do this, let us put our needs together and come and get the brand or the name fixing. And that's how it really started out. My mother, oh, my mother, as I said, had this great grand idea to even expand bigger and just make Titsy work. So, she moved from St. Mary to Kingston with her family, not knowing what to expect, and just started to make products. And it was only hats made by hand, made by hand. I think it's when she got her order then she sees that she could not just do that order by herself with her hand, and that's when she went to Singer a couple of years ago, way back in the day, and got a machine, taught herself how to use a machine that has never been done before, taught herself how to use a machine. And of course, she has gotten throughout the years of being a teacher, she has gotten several upgrades, but she taught herself how to use a machine, and that's it. Basically taught us every single thing, how to use a machine to make hats, make bags, make mats, every single thing that Sidcile make, it's by her training us. And of course, we add our own touch and our own upgrading skills and our own innovation to create something new, something fresh. But it really started out with her. So she's like the backbone of the business.
So this was like what, 2 decades ago?
Yeah. Yeah. Really.
So you grew up.
So she has about.
You grew up around that
She
kind
has
of
about
thing.
6 years. Yes, I grew up around it. I've been to almost every trade show except the one overseas. But every trade show in Jamaica, every craft fair, every function, like everything has been there.
Okay. And now, when did it become a second generation business? Because your father Cecil still is the CEO, is it, of the
No,
business? But
he passed. Oh no, he passed years ago. So it's just my mother, the one who trained him, but he passed years ago.
wow. And so it is now fully a second generation business.
Yes, fully a second generation business that involves myself and my 2 sisters. My mother,
Okay.
she
So
is retired now.
she's retired now. So when did you take over?
I think my thing I won't say take over because I see you have CEO there, but I'm just one of the part in now. But I think 20 years ago, having been to all the trade shows and all the functions with her, while I was studying, I said to myself, I could do this because she's always pushing me in front to sell, to talk to people. So it's about 20 years ago. I said, you know what, I could help to build this family business, and establish it like in a big brand. So about 20 years ago, I started to really, as I said, while going to school, I studied, I was still doing every single thing. I learned the craft, and I'm excited. The fact that I can create something and people wear it when I go on the road to people my product, I'm like, hey, that's a nice product.
So how the business been run in the early days when your mother and your father started it and were taking it to the market and expanding it? How has it changed since they were doing it to now that you and your sister are basically giving a fresh eye to things? What have
Oh,
you
it
guys
has
brought
changed.
to it that's changed?
Okay, so it has changed significantly because before my mom and dad only focus on hats and bags. Now, as the year progresses, my sisters and I, we started to do some new style of same shape, but just add extra more style to the product. So there's a bag that we have right here that's called the tighter bag. Now this is what we developed over here. So it's the same bucket shaped bag that my mother designed. But what we do, we add a little tie to it. So it's called the tighter. So it's no longer a zip up. You don't have to zip it up, you just tie it up and go. So that's something that we had introduced about 10 years ago that people still want up to this day. So from taking it from the hats and bags, so no, taking it from the hats and a few little beach bags that upgraded to like tighter bag, that introduced wristlets, that introduced this is like the pouch, a little whispers,
Like a
that
clutch
introduced
purse.
that introduced several different style of clutch purse from where it goes. And now we have taken it as not just from accessory, but we're moving into home decor. So you have something that called this is the square basket, like a storage basket, and it can be used for anything. This is where it
What's
is
that
now.
made from?
It's from the same Jiffy Jaffa square. And this came about, I can tell you, during COVID, because when that came, we had to pivot, we had to like go back in our creativity and say, what can we do so that everybody seems to be staying inside and looking after their home? And that's when we started with the storage basket, the all-purpose basket, the plant basket. We just started to develop some home decor items. So taking it from hats only to a wide array of different products for people. So we're not only wear, but functional in your home that we can use.
Okay. How many product lines do you have now? Because it sounds like you've expanded to quite a bit.
Wow. So we have the whole. So we have the purses, hats, handbags, gift bags. It's
It's
about
quite a
12
bit.
different products. It's quite a bit. So we have table mat, we have wedding souvenirs. It's because it's custom craft, and I always tell people, if you have an idea, let's say for your wedding, for a corporate gift, whatever it is, you can come to us and we will create. So sometimes the product line expand even more. So sometimes person will come to us and ask us to make something, a package solution. If you want something for your bottles, you're into oils and you want a little basket for your bottles, you can create that. So as I said, it's about 12 different products. And not all the time we push. I know what's going faster from what's not. I know what persons are leaning towards more. So sometimes we pull back and put forward something that I know that person is really well.
Do you have you over the years developed a method for developing products? As in, how do you decide what to go into next?
We sit as a team, especially if there's like a slow period. We sit as a because I realize every time I go to a trade show or a gift or a craft fair, persons are always looking what tip you have new. So I realized they challenge us to do something new. So it's like, okay, so let's say for the entire year, we have been to several shows. I know persons for the next year. So it's like the following year comes in, we sit as a team and say, what can we make? What else this target can make? For person, because you don't want to be repeating this stuff. Persons are looking to see for new ideas and new products. A client may just buy almost every single one of the product that I have. And she's gonna come back. What needs do you have? So our clients also push us to create. So it's almost like by the end of the year, starting of the year, we sit as a team and we said, what needs can we do to develop either the store? What is extra can do? That is functional.
Okay. So who is your target market? Like, who are the persons that you're primarily creating these products for?
I will say from about 18. I have 18-year-old that will buy whiskers. So it's from 18-year-old this week.
Did it start out that way, or did you
No,
attract it? Go ahead.
Because it started out by target market being more of the tourists, because as I said before, it was like hats and beach bags. So before it was like tourists or senior. But because we have introduced a new line, we're teenagers and the young and moving towards 16 now.
How do you make your products accessible to the market? Because I'd imagine when you were targeting the tourist markets, you were using the retail stores that would target maybe the gift shops and so on. You'd make the products and have them sold to the gift shops. How do you make your products accessible to the market now?
Well, I push it on Facebook and Instagram, and before when I had a store at Devonos, that was like a central location for them to come, especially in December time. We had a lot of them. Right now, it's the social media. I'm looking forward to doing a website soon.
Okay, so you're online now, basically. Yes. Can persons get your products elsewhere? Are there any retailers that they can get the products through?
Right now, no. They can just call us directly up on our Instagram page and get the products. So right now, no.
Okay. All right. So you said that during the COVID last year, you guys had to pivot. Did you have any plans in place as to what it is that 2020 going into 2021 should have, that's going from 2019 going into 2020 was supposed to be? What was that year supposed to be, and how did you deal with the changes that came?
What happened, we started on, we said even before COVID, 2019, and we're going into 2020, we said, okay, we're going to hit back some gift shops because a long time we haven't hit that area. So we said we're going to go out and get hit and get a couple of shows that we were going to go. So that was the plan. The plan was not to do, um, 50 decor line. That was far. That was a bit far. But it's going to create new designer purses because purses are going out. So we wanted to just hit the market with something, new in terms of fashion. So we were just going to go full out in that. And that was like 2019 into 2020. Then came COVID. Purses are not going out. They're not selling as much. And as much, but if we need to go to the beach, or we have to stay inside, then we have to okay.
Need a new market.
We don't know. Need a new market. We want to do home.
And then
so we started working.
And you came up with the focus.
Yeah.
Okay. So having determined that adding home decor to it and expanding into the home accents and that kind of thing, what are the plans going forward into 2021 now? Now that we kind of see that 2020 hit us by surprise and we didn't expect it, but we're kind of we have to create some kind of stability or some kind of plan, some pathway for us to continue. What are you now planning and projecting for Sidcile going forward with the new line that you have and the existing products? What is it that you're planning to do?
Well, one, I realize that everybody is online. E-commerce is very important. So I plan to hit a couple of the e-commerce sites, which I've gotten when I did the last interview. So I've gotten some of those sites. I plan to reach out, get our stuff together, and hit that market. The plan also is to do a personal website as well. So that is also in the pipeline. So two things, go online because everybody's literally shopping online, and also do a website of their own. So because this new line needs to fit, it needs to see, people need to see it. It's lovely and it's nice, but people need to literally actually see it. And also, looking at some of these other stores that possibly are willing to take some of our products, because a lot of persons are going to other life stuff for their home. So we're looking into that as well. Not every area, but
so your focus is basically on your channels.
Exactly.
So you're looking at the different channels of getting into the market.
Exactly, different channel of getting into the market. And also not giving up on hats, because I've never actually positioned the hats to be like farmers, So that's another avenue I can probably push that for it as well.
So, Sydia, you are in charge of marketing. You said all things marketing is you, right? What other roles are there?
Well, I do work on the products as well. I do help to make them. So it's not just the marketing side and the talking side and getting products. So, but
tell us about the team. What's the team? Who comprises the team, and what are the different roles that exist in the business?
Okay, my sister Anne-Marie Brown-Griffiths, she is one of the chief designer that come up, create, literally sit on the machine and make the product. My other sister is Monica Brown. She's also one of the designer and also chief quality controller. Make sure that everything is in place, no thread is loose or anything like that. And also, so it's like everybody. So you have the chief designer, which is Sister Anne, which has a lot more experience than in literally using the machine and sewing. And then my other sister, Monica Brown, that her role is also quality control and making the product as well. And I just do everything. So
you do the accounting? Go ahead.
Well, we have an accountant. We do have an accountant. Do have an
Okay.
accountant. So we have an accountant,
And
and
what role
wedding
does your
nurse
mom
is
play?
the chairman. She literally comes around, she come in the workshop and look at everything, everything that's right, look at the product, tell me if you like it, if you dislike it, use the light. But
Giving
she is
wisdom and
relaxing now.
oversight.
Exactly. She's
Yes.
relaxing now. She has worked long and hard enough. So she's basically relaxing now.
Okay. So I picked up operations and that is productions and design and
Yes,
quality control and marketing
yes.
and admin, right? I got that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
What about we just talked about how it is that you're looking at going the strategy going forward, and you say you guys are looking at more focusing on the distribution channels and your
Mm-hmm.
communication channel because you're using social media now, and everybody basically has to be virtual and online these days because of the times, and situating yourself in such a way is you're not going to survive otherwise. Do you see any opportunities? Oh, you also said that you're looking at using the partners, because I was just thinking about, is there any potential partnership relationships that you have identified that could probably serve you in
Mm-hmm.
getting the brand out there?
Mm-hmm.
And the hardware is one of them that you mentioned.
But yeah, I'm looking, not that I've contacted anybody, but that when I start, I'm just doing a little
Mm-hmm.
survey and a little research, and I'm thinking that
Mm-hmm.
the hardware could be one avenue as well.
Okay. Did you have staff that was that you had impacted during the pandemic, or do you
No, during the
all
pandemic, it
just
was just us alone. Yeah.
it
It
was
was
just you? Okay.
because years ago, what happened, it failed onto our family. Before, it was, we had a factory and everything, but that was years ago. So right now, all the staff is us.
Mhm.
So we are the one that was impacted.
That was you. Okay. So having been in business all this time and having witnessed what it is that your parents would have gone through when they were the primary ones running the business, what would you say in the journey so far has been the most challenging thing that the business has gone through, um, and how did it impact you? Not necessarily you, but whoever was steering the ship at the time.
Honestly, I would say two things. One, when we had to close the store at Governors, and then secondly,
Tell us
it's
about
COVID.
how that happened. Tell
To
us
start with,
about
it was
that.
very good. So Governors, I think I was there for about 5, 6 years. It was good. And then
Mm-hmm.
but then the clientele started to slow down, started to slow down. And they have
Mm-hmm.
rent. So why sit in a place where clientele is slowing down? Even though it's a central location, person, I mean, they started, a lot of persons like that side, and persons love it. But the clientele is slowing down, and you just have to say, it no longer makes sense to sit in a place. When the clientele is slowing down, that means products are moving slow, and the rent is going up. That makes no sense. So we just have to like close that. That was very challenging because we had to move back home. It was good to have a store, and person didn't have to come to the factory to home get the product. It's very good to have a central location. We can just meet person like in the middle. When we have to like move back home, that was, yeah, a little challenging. We had to like sit and like okay, go back to the drawing board. That was challenging because there was a lot of
When was
inventory that
that?
we
What
had.
year was that?
That year was about 2019, the early part of 2019.
Oh,
Very early.
yeah.
So, and you have persons, that some of my clients are not on social media, just me, and they're not into social media. So you have persons actually lost some clients because of the closure of the store. Having, moved back home, lots of inventory, you have to come up with ideas how to get those inventory off our hands. That was a little bit challenging. And then you can closure another challenge. But they
Right.
always say out of a challenge, something good comes from that. Because at least it helped. What happened in the midst of that, we created the home decor line.
Right, right.
It's
So,
very good. Oh,
out of every situation that is considered maybe a crisis or a negative, were you as a family able to identify any learning points as into what may have caused it, or what did just you said you guys had it kind of hit you and you had to go and reflect on it. What were some of the things that you learned from that situation?
one of the things that I know for a fact that one, the company need to kind of like refocus even on marketing. But I realized, a lot of us yesterday succeeded, but a lot of them still don't know about the brand. They just don't know about the brand. So there's just some stuff that we have to look into and said that we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board and say how best we can get this product out, get the market, get the brand that people get used to it, and also putting or like a stamp, a seal on all the clothes because you can be wearing a picture but and then you know because it's not okay, have that feel on the outside of it. So we're thinking about that, getting the literal logo on the product on each and every product, which we didn't have before. Yes, we have our logo on the inside, but not everybody pays attention to that. We did adjust some of the things. But getting that stamp on the outside, that if people can see it, and also focus in focus on marketing, getting a fresh start, a new outlook in marketing. How can you push the brand and let it be known as well?
Okay,
Because
so
what
you
happened is that
basically talking
even at
about.
governance,
Mhm.
no, I was saying even at governance, a lot of times people have an issue finding it, or just when they're passing and they'll see it, that's how they're from. Yeah, so it's definitely something, looking into marketing. Definitely. Yeah.
Because that's the thing that we sometimes see that a business will grow organically. As in, you start off, you're making something, you're making the bags, making the hats, and so on, and people are liking it, and it's just growing organically through your efforts. And then it gets to a point. It gets to a point where it needs a little bit more. It needs something else to get it to keep
Yeah,
it growing
exactly.
and to keep it sustaining,
Yeah,
right? And so it's interesting that um, you sometimes don't really see it in time. You don't see that, because you have to time it very carefully as to,
yeah,
okay, when do you start to add that marketing that you're talking about, which is an effort towards building a clientele, building the brand, communicating that message
exactly.
around the brand so that it becomes present in the minds of the wider
Exactly.
market space, and really focusing on that, such that the growth that was going on by itself gets like the fertilizer, if you will,
Exactly.
by a
Yeah.
focused strategy. So
Mhm.
going forward, that's what we are seeing coming out now, where you're saying, you know what, yes, we're
Yeah.
going to focus a lot more. Yes, we're right here, but we're going to focus a lot more on marketing and getting that build, doing putting the effort behind supporting the growth of the brand by communicating and attracting new clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Because
So
it's not like it is good to have a nice product that people need to see. People need to see as well.
exactly, if people don't know about it, then there's no good in terms of your brand and your business growing. And even the fact that the business has been around for so long means that there's a
Yeah.
generation that would have been supporting the business,
Yeah.
and then a new generation now that probably doesn't know anything
Yeah.
about this and needing to
Yeah.
be reintroduced or be introduced
Yeah.
to the brand in a very deliberate
Mhm.
way. So, having witnessed this and now going through what you would have considered the worst parts or the lowest, most challenging and difficult parts of the entrepreneurial journey for Sidcile thus far, um, I spoke to another entrepreneur recently who was also in a family business, and the
Okay.
person described, yes, described having some challenges that come out of just being a family in business. Have you found that there are any any issues that affect the family and not just the business because you are in business together?
No, and I'm honestly going to say no because we work as a team, and if there's any issue, we talk about it. Yeah. But,
Really, everything is smooth and amicable. That is wonderful, and
all
I'm
right.
glad to have that. Another example.
Yeah, because what happens? Somebody comes up with a creative idea, and another person tweaks it. So I know you can do the idea. So she shows it to Monica. Monica added her tweaking to it. She shows it to me. I add my tweaking and I get a product. And if you don't like it, you say, no, I don't think that won't work. No. So we're very honest with each other. If you think that something is not going to work, it's not going to work. And it's because I do a lot of research when it comes to marketing and fashion. What's happening, what's
Mhm.
not. So they'll come to me sometimes, I'm the one that search through the internet pages and see what's going on. So there are times when I can say, no, I don't think that will work. So I guess this is where we talk to each other. But we all come together as a team and just add our little flavors to it. And what's not going to work is we're very honest about it.
Are you the eldest sibling?
Pardon?
Are you the eldest sibling?
Oh no, I'm the youngest. I'm the last child.
And is it fair to call you the leader in the context of the operations of the business?
That,
Who is the leader?
I don't know. I don't think it's
Who is
fair.
the boss? Who is the boss?
Every, my mother is the boss. Okay. And everybody, we work as a team. My mother is the boss. We work as a team. We work as a team. I mean, I may be the one that talk and go out to the shows and everything because my two other sisters are shy, but
Mhm.
I was saying, all of us have we're equal. We have shares in it, and that's how we see each other. But my mother sees the boss.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Because there has to be a team leader, you know. On a team, there has to be a team leader. There has to be someone who holds it together, and there is some kind of deferral to when some calls need to be made. And you say
They
for right
always
now, that's
said,
still your mom.
like I said, you said there has to be a team leader, right?
Mm.
And I'll explain it again. If something happened or a design come up, and if I would come together, and if somebody, because you see, all can to work, and if they agree, they have to agree. If they don't agree, that product is not going out, and I'm not putting it up on Instagram or Facebook or whatever social media there is. So we all have to come together and say yes to it. So I mean, I hope I'm explaining it, but everybody, because one can't say yes and two say no. It's not going to work. I'm telling you, that product is not going out. All of us have to agree on the matter. It doesn't matter what it is. All of us have to agree. I guess that's all my mother taught me. That's what she taught all of us. And even when she was very active in the business, even though she leads, and she comes to, it is not working out to try to like everybody, to want the full agreement. And that's what we that's like that's the process. We try to everybody just needs to agree on something.
So there,
That's very
I'm
important.
hearing that compromise is a very important value. Harmony and the ability to compromise, the willingness to compromise are very important. Those are important things in Sidcile, right?
Yeah, we have to harmonize. We definitely have to harmonize. It is not going to go anywhere. Definitely. Every show that we are on, even this interview, everybody knows about it. So it's not like I talk about them. And I come to them with ideas, but harmonization, very important. for the company. It's really important because that's how I see my mother operated it years ago.
Um, have you found that being in the position of running and managing a business has changed you as an individual, as a person in any way?
I have become more mature in terms of decision making, my ability to sit and make a decision. You have to, let's say, an account decision or spend whatever it is. But I have become more mature in terms of running a business. Running a business is not easy. And especially the low point, it's not easy at all. But you have to be mature. You can't get frantic. You can't get chaotic. Even though the situation is chaotic, you have to stay calm. So it has taught me how to be mature. It doesn't matter what the situation is, how to remain calm. Because being chaotic won't stop the problem. I have to remain calm so we can all come to a proper decision. Definitely, I have become more mature.
What do you think are the most important traits that an entrepreneur needs to have?
Consistency, predictable. You need to be stable. Sometimes, like you go to a show and a client come by, and it's because you really want that client to, especially a trade show where you're looking like this wholesale buyer. And I need to be honest. And you will say that the time to ask you, can you make 100? And you say yes, because you want that client. And you say that you can't. Yeah, that don't work. So we need to be honest. I need to be predictable, answer, predictable, stable. You need to harmonize with people. You need to organize. Definitely, honesty and predictable and stable, you need that. As too often, sometimes you take on stuff that you can't manage, and then you lose that client. You lose that client because
so you need to build trust.
Yeah, the client is trusting, and you should be trusted as well.
Okay. All right. What would you say is the there are lots of products, there are a lot of producers that you would consider to be competition in this space now, right? What would you say is the distinction or the value proposition that Sidcile has that distinguishes it from the others?
When I've got that question several times, and I'll say, we're not like the owner of Jupiter at this point. So I know that all the persons are going to use Jupiter to many other things. But I always say, what you get, this is it. My tagline is experience the driver, experience the car, experience safety. What everything is all that safety. You have to get in when compactness of safety in the product. So I'm not going to say I'm the only one that's going to make a storage basket or a placement. There's several others. But it's what we bring to the table that creates fit for you. So you're getting our experience when you buy a product. That's what we want. We want you to feel the experience, to feel our excitement when we create a product. That's what I want every time to get. That's what fits me. And not so much looking at that brand is doing straw. So no, I don't look on this because I expect other person to use the straw to do many other beautiful things. When it comes to us, is what you're getting from us.
When you said your mother started this off and she had a talent, she had a skill, but she had a drive to become an entrepreneur as well. And that's what really pushed her to really grow this thing. What does it mean to you now, being second generation business owner? What does it mean to you to be an entrepreneur? What is that for you? What does that look like? What does that mean for you? Do you even define yourself that way?
Not really, but just looking at the experience of my mother, her creativity, her stance in life, her tenacity, her drive, just her focus. to focus on something and keep going after it. I think that's what I get from her. And that's what those are the values and I I take on and I say in terms of an entrepreneur because like I said, it's not an easy road, but it's not a lifestyle. You know, the business is doing. The business is not with the product.
Mm,
The business is you.
mm,
If you're an angry person, I'm telling you, you're gonna probably take some crazy things. But the business is you.
mm,
Your honesty, your passion for people. Because when I create, I'm creating for people. I'm creating for myself. So
mhm,
getting into the minds of people. That's what I'm doing. Looking into somebody's hope and said, that will work so beautiful. Look at your doorstep or somewhere. It's you. The business is you. So that is what it means for me to be an entrepreneur. That me, I have to be that whole person. As I said, I can't be perfect in all of it. I have to be still. I have to create that
alignment.
maturity on the inside of you. That have to be aligned
Mm,
because you can't be
mm,
this way and the business this way. No, because it is you. And whatever company brand you have, it is you. It is you. And you have to be stable. You have to be predictable. You have to be stable. And I think that for me is an entrepreneur. It's not the money. It's not to become a millionaire. But a lot of persons are millionaire, but you don't like the character. The character is very important. Character is very
mm.
important. So entrepreneur is not that okay, something like in a business, and no, that's not for me. And I think the business is you. So whatever the business look like, that's what you look.
Mm, mm. Very,
And
very
that which
authentic.
yeah, yeah. And yeah,
Very
that's the word. You have to be authentic.
authentic.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, that's the
Very
word. Because
authentic. I get that.
any
That's
authentic
the word that
product.
comes to my mind from everything you say.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Because then you're
And then
pushing this
that fuses
authentic
into what
brand.
you were saying.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. So if you're authentic, what you're able to
yeah.
do is
It
just an
just
authentic product. Yeah.
mm. And I mean, for the type of product that it is or the type of business that you are, it's very important because it's a creative, you're in a creative sector, you're in a creative field, and there is something to the whole business of offering something that has an energy of realness. You're talking about you want the
Mm-hmm.
person you want to ask you the value proposition question. You're saying, well,
Yeah.
really, it's about you're getting Sidcile, and Sidcile stands for something. It's a representation of something, and
Mm-hmm.
everything that you're answering subsequent is basically affirming that and reiterating that there is an authentic desire to be sincere, to be
Yeah.
honest, to really
Yeah.
connect and to really give
Yeah.
quality and to
Mm-hmm.
give. I almost feel from you like you want to give a little peace. You want to give them some peace when they get the product, you know. So yeah, I can really appreciate that and appreciate that in the context of today's world and how entrepreneurship I think is driving um, lifestyle for people who are taking their own economic um, progression and stability in their own hands through the journey of
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship, and also entrepreneurship from the position and perspective of how it is impacting the lives of others, because that is what that's
Exactly.
also what entrepreneurship is about. It's about changing
Exactly.
lives, and it's
Exactly.
about changing not just the person who is doing the business's life by making
Exactly.
them prosperous
Exactly.
economically, but also offering and changing the lives to the markets that they're serving and the communities that they're in. So yeah, I get that from you, Cydia, and I get that. I get that. Um, what and also I was gonna ask you if you have any mentors, but it sounds like your mother is your biggest mentor. Is that correct?
My mother, my sisters, my husband, my friends.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
So I get strength not only just my mother, but I get strength from each person that is in my life. Yeah. And I'm mature, not by myself. I'm mature because of all of these persons that have influenced my life.
Is there any successful entrepreneur or business person or person in the public that you admire or would? they have some aspirations to, you know, maybe emulate in any
I
way?
I admire several, and I'm talking about local because just how their product, from where they started to where they are
Mm-hmm.
now, so they have like a big standard. I really, really like. My mother knows her and how she started out. I just
Mm-hmm.
actually at the standard still know. Wow, it's like beautiful hand-on, standard is really nice. So you have a freezer ceramic that
Mm-hmm.
has the same clear. All of those different art persons, those are the persons that I really admire in terms of doing their business. So they're really good classical pieces, classic, timeless, authentic pieces. So I really admire a lot of the designers in the craft industry.
Okay. All right, and you mentioned a couple of them that that have really grown into proper brands that are
Yeah,
recognizable, not just locally
yeah.
anymore, but also
But
they've made
overseas,
their way
yeah,
into,
absolutely.
yes, into export markets and have basically set themselves up for long-term sustainability and growth. Having said that, do you have any ambitions for Sidcile to scale and grow beyond a family business, or what are your ambitions? What do you see the future? What is the vision for Sidcile?
What I love for it is because the international market is huge and we will love to tap into a piece of that. So I'm seeing it to grow big, not, and you don't necessarily, because we have, I've always wanted some niche market. Like there's a niche market that you don't need to sell 500, but you have a niche out there and it still allows your company to grow. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the export market even more because I also because it's exportable. So I'm really looking forward to that growth to the next level where I can have it in. My mother had an experience. It was 9/11. Right after that, when the Jamaica Coast Guard had to do a promotion in New York, and my mother had the opportunity to stay about 1 week in Harlem Lumber Store in New York, one of those top design stores. And everything in
Mm-hmm.
that store got $1,000. And she had that opportunity, and she got written up in one of the tabloids for her work, and it was even nothing. It was like some of the bags weren't even here. It was just some simple bags, but it was just the authenticity and the neatness of her work and the quality of her work that she got a little stint in their New York tabloid. So I see where the product can go. I see because she had that little experience a couple years ago. So I'm looking forward to the global international market. So yeah, I will be able to offer my product on that level.
Uh, what are you doing? How are you setting up the business and positioning the business to take advantage of that? From a behind the scenes perspective, now I know you have a relationship with JBDC
Mhm,
through Things Jamaican, um,
mhm,
but I'm putting on my business development advisor cap now and
mhm.
asking you, how is your infrastructure, the business infrastructure and the processes? How are you positioning the business just to grow and scale? Do you have things in place?
Well, and that's what the team spoke about because I know we need to come and sit with like a BBDC, a Jam Pro, like a JME, all of those things. So all of those things are in the pipeline we talked about. And I know. So those are the things I know because I know we can't scale on our own. We need
Exactly.
collaboration, we need to partner, we need the support. So all of those things are
Exactly.
in the pipeline that we're going to sit and talk. So yeah, that's
Yes, exactly. Because going back to that stage, there's a point where you can grow organically, but then at that certain, as you start to go up and thing, you need a little gas. You need, the little elbow grease and
yes, it is.
kneecap grease can't carry you go up there anymore. You need some more support. You need an engine on the thing, to help you to really push you up and take you into the realms of proper entrepreneurial growth. So we're here and ready to support you in realizing, you and your family in realizing those dreams. And as usual, we have open room for comments or questions from the audience that's listening or with us here on social. If you have any, throw the questions in here. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to tell Sydia a lot of thanks for having shared the entrepreneur's journey for Sidcile, and I'm lumping all of the history and the present together in terms of, you know, it being founded by your parents and now being overseen by you and your siblings. Thank you for sharing, and we really do wish you all the best. And we look
Thank
forward
you.
to supporting you as you continue. All right. I'm not
Thank
seeing
you
any
very much.
questions coming in.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome, Sydia. And I can again, I was going to just load it up again and say how much I have a room, Sydia, where I have my handbags, and you are not going to find any European brand name bags in that room. There are, I, I don't want to tell a lie, but there's a few of them, and
Mm-hmm.
I am not exaggerating when I say 90% of the bags that I have are local designers. They are made by
Excellent.
local designers, and your family's brand is both two of them I have, right? So, and
Nice.
I've had them for years. Exactly, I've had them for years, and they don't look any much older for the or worn for the wear of time. So, I'm just throwing this out there to everybody that's investing in our local creatives, in our local fashion designers, in our local producers of all of the things that they're into now, because it's not just gift and craft; it's so beyond that
Exactly.
now. Investing in these things, it is not just only aesthetically worth it and rewarding, but it's also worth the investment of your money. Because at the time, I used to go out and show them and look for the deals when they have sale and things like that. Because normally, you know, the price them. But I'm saying it is worth the investment. It is
Yes, it
worth
is.
it because I have them, and actually probably can change clothes more than I have to change the bags, because they go with
Okay.
everything, and they're the fashion and the quality and you know, it's there's no failing in the
Okay.
quality of the product. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
big ups.
Mm-hmm.
Big ups to our
Thank you.
local
Thank you.
designers and producers.
Yes.
All right, so that was it for this week's episode of the Entrepreneur's Journey. Thank you for those of you who joined us this afternoon for lunch. If you haven't had lunch yet, and I hope you have a good one and have a good weekend. Oh, so Ingrid Cove says she's on her second bag as well. So yes, you have another fan out there.
Nice.
Yes, yes,
Thank
we
you.
endorse it. We endorse it. Yes, thank you for staying with us during the lunchtime. And as I was saying, have an excellent weekend. And see you guys again, same place, same time next week for another entrepreneur's journey. All right. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one, Sydia.
All right. Bye. Thank you.